What's up, YouTube? jDantastic here, and today I wanted to talk about some of the news that we got as more and more things for Dragon Ball Super keep getting released and translated and all of that fun stuff. Now, I'm not going to be one of the channels that's going to try to rush and break news and all that type of stuff. It's far too stressful for me to try to be the first one to upload news or anything like that, so the only types of videos that I'm going to do are, news that has pretty much 100% been confirmed and theories that I think just for fun, basically. I don't want to get into the whole race of dropping news and stuff like that. So I just wanted to get that out there. All of my videos and things like that are just mostly for fun, just because I love the series, and so I like to talk to you guys about what's happening with the series and that kind of stuff. This is, less about reporting and more about just me wanting to discuss with everyone about what's going on with Dragon Ball Super and the new series and all that kind of stuff. So that being said, today's video is going to contain some spoilers from Dragon Ball Super. So if you don't want to know anything at all about Dragon Ball Super, please do not watch this video, because I will be talking about what's going on in the first episode. That we know is pretty much confirmed so far from what we've pieced together from the release of today, as well as the teaser trailer that fits pretty well with what seems to be the description of that. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, you should click out of this video right now. If you don't care, since it is only the first episode, then please keep watching. So some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about was just the episode itself, and then how it fits in with the timeline of Battle of Gods and Fukkatsu no F. Now, originally, I thought that the series was supposed to take place after Fukkatsu no F. It was my understanding that it would have been Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, Fukkatsu no F, Dragon Ball Super was the original timeline. It turns out that this series is actually going to start immediately following the defeat of Kid Buu. So it's going to actually take place before Battle of Gods, which was news to me. I didn't think it was going to happen that way, but it turns out that it is, and that's fine. And so some of the stuff I wanted to talk about was, how it fits in with the two movies and where it's going to go. So let me just give you a little bit of a summary of what the first episode is going to look like. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. So basically, it starts out, and the fight has previously ended with Kid Buu, and so Goku is farming under Chi-Chi's instruction. Goku just wants to train. He keeps daydreaming and picturing himself fighting Frieza and Cell and Buu, because even though those are the dangerous times, that's when Goku's most happy. We all know that he loves to be a fighter. And so he's constantly daydreaming about this while he's farming. Now, meanwhile, we see Beerus, and he is scheduled to destroy a planet. The planet thinks that they can spare themselves from being destroyed if they make him a good enough meal, and then they also have a backup plan, which they poison the meal, hoping to kill Beerus, even if he changes his mind and doesn't want to blow up the planet. They still try to poison him, but the poison doesn't work, and he basically just laughs them off, and he insults them, and he's like, I can't believe you would be so stupid to think that you could poison me like this. They then try to kill Beerus. It just says that they shoot at him. I don't know if that means like blasts or some primitive type weapons or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And he ends up destroying the planet. The key point of this is that the food, the dishes, one of the dishes that he is served, the name of it reminds him of Super Saiyan God from one of the dreams that he had. Somehow it reminds him of Super Saiyan God somehow. And so after he destroys the planet, he goes back to his planet to think on this and to try to figure out, to wrap his head around what's going on and see if he can remember some more details of what Super Saiyan God is. And then we see a little bit about the Kais, and they're obviously keeping tabs on Beerus because they know a little bit more about him and what's going on, and so we see some of that stuff. And then Goku, meanwhile, wants to go back to King Kai's planet to train, because obviously that's all he wants to do. And to answer my own question from the video that I made yesterday about why is Goku so poor, which was basically just a joke video. It doesn't really matter to me about Goku's financial situation. It never really has. But apparently Hercule does offer him some money to because Hercule is given the peace prize for defeating Boo, but he wants to give the money to Goku, and at first Goku is blown away by how much the money is, and he doesn't want the money, and Chi-Chi doesn't want him to take the money because he thinks that he should be a real man, basically, and work, which some of you actually commented on my video. Makes a lot of sense. It's very Chi-Chi-esque. She wants him to have a real job and earn his keep, basically. And so at first Goku turns him down, but then it seems like after it is explained to Goku how much money it really is, and that he could give that money to Chi-Chi and Goten and not so much Gohan anymore because he's grown up, but that would allow him to no longer have to farm, and he could go to Kai's to train. And so I believe he accepts that money so that he can go train. And that's pretty much it. And there were some questions that I had when we saw the teaser trailer, because we saw Goku powering up into a Super Saiyan, and I thought that was weird. I didn't think that would be from the first episode, because I was like, why would Goku be transforming into a Super Saiyan in the very first episode? Like, are we going to see a threat this early on? But it turns out that while he's daydreaming of these more eventful times, he basically just kind of like powers up because he's daydreaming of training, and he kind of misses it, and so he just transforms into a Super Saiyan, reliving the good old days, I guess. So that's how that fits in. So now part of what I wanted to talk about was, how does this fit in with the timeline? Because it doesn't. If you just look at it from the outside, it doesn't fit in with the timeline at all, because Beerus is supposed to be asleep right now. He doesn't wake up until 5 years following the defeat of Kid Buu, and so I kind of have some theories on how to make it fit, sort of fit. It's not going to be perfect at all, and there's definitely going to be some holes, but if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z and you haven't had your fair share of plot holes and time skips and all that kind of stuff, then you're in the wrong place, I guess. But I have a couple of different theories. The probably the most obvious one is that this is going to be a plot hole, because Beerus, when Toriyama wrote Battle of Gods, he probably didn't know that there was going to be a Dragon Ball Super. He might not have known that he was going to get a chance to make a new series, and so he wrote Battle of Gods in a certain way, and he only had so much time in the movie's plot line to give Beerus a backstory and all that, so he's like, alright, well, we'll just have him wake up from his dream, and he knows about the Super Saiyan God, and he wants to go find out more of it, and so that's how the movie took place. Now that he has time and he has a series and he can devote some time to that, he can put a little bit more backstory into Beerus, which I think this shows his kind of crazy wild side. He just destroys this planet, which shows that, he's not necessarily a good guy that we kind of saw in Battle of Gods. And I mean, I never felt like he was a good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy, but he's kind of a wild card, I guess. And so you can use this time to build him into more of a character and give him a little bit more density, which I think is really cool, because Beerus obviously has the opportunity to be a really cool character, as well as Whis. We don't know anything about Whis, and so I think that that's going to be the now he's like, oh, I can write about these characters now. I can give them some backstory. I can give them some depth. And so I think that's probably what happened. He wasn't planning on doing the series, and now that the series is here, he can actually do this. And with that being said, that's probably what's going to happen. It's probably just a plot hole, and the timelines aren't going to line up exactly, and the movies never lined up exactly. Some theories that I was thinking about that could possibly make it fit into the same timeline is that what we see of Beerus in the first episode could be like, it could be in the past. It doesn't necessarily have to be happening at the same time. It could just be like a flashback to Beerus to give him some, to bring him into the series. And then when he goes back to his planet is when he goes back to take a nap, and then he wakes up again, and that's when Battle of Gods happens. That could be a possibility. The other possibility could be, we see him just waking up in Battle of Gods, but we don't, there's a lot that he could have done in that time. Whis can pretty much take him anywhere at any given time, and so there's time in there where you could say, well, before he went to find Goku, like after he woke up, or before he had that giant meal, or maybe right after the giant meal, he stopped by this this planet and that he had scheduled, and then he destroyed it, and then he went to find Goku and find out about Battle of Gods. That was kind of one theory that I had, that you could kind of squeeze it in there, maybe. And then the other one was kind of that, in Dragon Ball Z, we've always seen different aspects of time, like the hyperbolic time chamber, and when certain characters are dead, and you know, how time passes in Dragon Ball Z has always been kind of relative. And so since Beerus is so far away on a different planet, and you know he travels so, you know, time could turn differently wherever Beerus is, and so whatever time for Beerus is probably not the same amount of time that it would be for the Z Fighters. And so you could say that while they were traveling, you know, while Whis is bringing Beerus to find Goku or whatever, a certain amount of time passes that to us would seem instant, but to them could be a little bit, or to them could be instant, but to us could be a little bit longer of time, if that makes sense. So that was another way to kind of think about it. If it's not that, then you know it's just something that we're gonna have to deal with, being a plot hole. And honestly, I'm fine with it. I don't really care if it doesn't fit perfectly with the movies, just because now he has a chance to give Beerus that substance, and I think that's great. You know, it's not just gonna be Beerus wakes up and we never see anything of his past, and all of a sudden, you know, he's just on Goku's side. Like, I think it would be cool to kind of rewrite Battle of Gods a little bit to give it more substance as well within the series, and we can see more of Beerus and kind of the character that he is, and he just doesn't come up and be like, all right, Goku, you're a pretty cool guy, I guess we can hang out. You know, like, I want to see him as like more of a wild card. Like, I want to feel like he might just kill Goku at any time, even after Battle of Gods, you know, when he's like, okay, you're pretty cool, I guess we could be friends, but don't cross me, because I'll kill you, and I don't even care, I'll blow up everything, I'll blow up the universe if I really felt like it, you know. And so I think that's pretty cool, and it doesn't bother me about the plot hole, but, you know, those are just a couple of theories about how you could kind of piece it together to hold the timeline together. It's not great, it's not a great theory at all, and it doesn't fit perfectly, but it's just something, you know, it's just something to go on. And then one other thing it seems that we got confirmed was the fat Beerus that we saw in that image. It turns out we have a name for him now, or supposedly it's pretty much confirmed, is that his name is Champ, like champagne, which fits the current name based off of alcohol for the other ones, like Whis for whiskey, Beerus, beer, obviously, and then Sham for champagne, which is spelled Champ, C-H-A-M-P, Champ in English. And we still don't have a name for female Whis yet. Someone made a joke and said her name should be Vod, like vodka, which I actually think is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool name, Vod, like Whis and Vod. That's I don't know, that's pretty sweet to me. So, but I guess we'll see what her name is. So that's all the information that I have today, and a couple of theories on the timeline that I have and how everything fits together. And I just wanted to address the plot hole. And I hope that you guys are just hanging in there. All the information that we're getting is just that. It's just information. It's all translation. It's all new. And no one is really going to know anything that happens until the manga is all the way out. And then even then when the series starts airing, because there's always going to be some slight differences in the series than there is in the manga. So, you know, that's just the way it is. And that's just the way the Dragon Ball Z has always been. And I'm fine with it, but I want to hear your guys' opinion on it. What do you think? What do you think about the information that we got today? If you hadn't heard it yet, and I just broke it to you, I guess, which I don't know, I'm sure most of you have already heard. Let me know. Give me some feedback down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If it's your first time stopping by my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We do a lot of videos like this, mostly gameplay style, but every once in a while we have a discussion. And as always, I am jDantastic, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Later.